Loop 10. Dreams. What would be the keys to make Doll trust me? From my past experience, the only thing that made Doll open up to me was the fact that I was able to help Art, a friend of his. But if I had to wait until Art choked on the snacks so I could help him again, it's too late. Was there anything else that I could do? Or should I take a clearer stance? Or should I tell Doll the truth about what I wanted from him? And if I did that, there would be two possibilities. First, was Doll understood and gave me a chance. Second, was Doll run away. He would tell me to go away and never mess with him again. The latter was more likely to happen. But before I could think about Doll's problem, now I needed to deal with the problem in front of me first.
Here! I've been waiting for 2 hours! Where the hell did the doctors go?
I was inserting the catheter into a patient, and everyone who was busy doing their jobs suddenly turned to look at the source of the noise coming from the emergency room door. A man was standing in front of the door with a grim expression on everyone. He was holding a water bottle in one hand. It was now 2:38. This patient was classified as white, which meant that he had to wait. We had more urgent patients that we needed to deal with first. In the emergency room, a case of sepsis was currently being treated by me. We also had a case that needed intubation and a suspected case of ischemic heart disease, waiting for the lab results. There were several accident cases that I should clear up soon. That person has had a stuffy nose for 3 days, doctor. Today he came because he can't sleep. A nurse walked over and whispered to me. Can't he see how busy we are? It's not like it was serious or fatal. Why doesn't he come to check it out during office hours tomorrow? I tied threads to sew a venous catheter to the patient's neck. When finished, I backed away and took off my sterile gloves. I already knew something like this would happen in one of the night shifts. Not only that, I knew what was going to happen after this. Kay went to talk to him already. Kay was a senior nursing assistant with a knack for negotiating compromisingly. She had a way of speaking and a tone of voice that made me feel incredibly calm. But I knew that no matter how good she could talk, he wouldn't listen. I left the case of bloodstream infection for Combe to continue taking care of and went straight to the patient who was still ranting and showing no sympathy. Please leave and wait outside. Now the doctor is looking after many severe cases. If the doctor finishes with those cases, the patient will be called in for an examination. And when will it be finished? I've been waiting here for 2 hours now. Where the hell have all the doctors gone? Working like this is like wasting the taxpayers' money in vain. I walked in and couldn't see where it was busy. That doctor is just talking on the phone. The angry patient pointed at Cole, who was holding the phone to talk to a professor to consult about the case. I furrowed my brows at the insults that sounded like they came out of the hating comments on the social network directed at doctors. Now everyone is working. Please wait. Kay continued to speak calmly. What was to come a few seconds later was something I always remembered because it was an incident that would trigger a meeting on the safety of emergency room personnel the next day. This patient would hold up the water bottle and throw it on the ground near Kay's feet. Last time I couldn't help her in time, causing the poor nurse who had worked in the emergency room for a long time to panic for several days. Kay was a cute person. I did not want her to face the event that was about to happen. The man raised his hand holding the water bottle. Kay screamed and hurriedly raised both arms to protect herself. I took a long step behind the man and grabbed his wrist instantly. Please go outside. If you don't go out, I'll call the security guard, I said in a cold tone. The man turned to look at me, trying to get out of my grip, but I was able to clench my fist to hold on. Anyway, I was definitely stronger than this idiot. Now all the doctors are working. No one is sitting doing nothing now. The system here is to check heavy cases first. The cases that are not urgent will have to wait. The nurse at the front of the room has estimated that your case can wait. I thought that my huge stature and worn out face came in handy today. It must look scary. The man managed to pull out his hand and rushed out of the emergency room. Kit turned to look at me with a relieved expression. Thank you, Dr. Tin. I thought I was going to get hit. I think we should call the security guard. He'll be around for a long time. It might scare all the other patients. Ken nodded. Okay, doctor. After the chaos, the incident and the emergency room had calmed down. The critically ill patients were all sent up to the ward. So between 4 and 6 in the morning, I secretly slept in a nook behind the nurse's counter because gave the bed in the residence room to the ladies to rest. Being a doctor taught me to sleep anywhere in the world. I wished there was a place where I could lay my head down and it would feel as comfortable as going to heaven. My eyes opened at the sudden sound of the phone notification ringing 3 times consecutively. I stretched out my arms to find the phone on the bedside table, trying to fight the evening sunlight pouring in through the window. I grabbed my phone and looked at the screen. What I saw made me sit up suddenly. The drowsiness disappeared like someone had blown it out. It's a message sent via Facebook chat from Doll. Brother, can I ask you a question? Is there a medicine that can cure nightmares? I quickly slid to open the app, never feeling like replying to someone's chat so quickly before. There's probably no drug that directly solves nightmares. Maybe try some mild stress relievers. You can eat them before bedtime. Okay, thank you. I stared blankly at Tall's answer. I stayed still for a while before deciding to ask, did you have a bad dream? Tall went silent for a long time and then he replied, yes, I can't sleep well. My heart was beating faster. What Tall was facing was probably the same phenomenon that Fak Fang faced. Tall might dream of the events in the past loops. Then, can I call you, please? Okay. I immediately called him via Facebook chat. After a while, he answered the call. Hello. Hello, Tall. I tried to sound handsome. About medicine, you can use the student's right and get it from the hospital. Oh, yes, Tall replied to me. And actually, if you tell me about your symptoms briefly, it might help. Make something up, Tin. It was like to it was time to pluck out the long forgotten knowledge of psychiatry. The dream shows a certain mental state of you. There may be some anxiety or stress. I Tall was silent for a moment. Often dream that I have an accident, and then I'll wake up and be unable to sleep. It's been a few days. Tall's tone seemed worried. It makes it difficult to study. Have you ever dreamed of seeing me? If I ask him this, would it sound too cheesy? Well, maybe you should come to see me in the emergency room. I'll give you a prescription. Can we do that, brother? Is it an emergency case? Tal asked me in a worried tone. Yeah, I'll do it for you. So you could also do a general health check. I saw you that day and was worried. Your face doesn't look so fresh. I pulled the blanket off my body, feeling fully awake. Have you finished school yet? Yeah. If you're free, you can come and see me in the emergency room. I hurriedly jumped out of bed and headed toward the closet. If you don't see me, please wait a moment. I'll be at the hospital in 10 minutes. Wait for me. I thought my first persuasion was starting to get suspicious. Uh, Paul sounded hesitant. I should go to the emergency room, right? Do I have to submit any cards first? Just take your student card with you. I'll handle the rest. I used my shoulder to hold the phone to my ear, struggling to put my pants on. Would you like to eat something? I'll buy it for you. It's okay, Paul quickly denied. In that case, I'll go to the emergency room. If you don't see me there, you can tell the nurse that you're Tin's younger brother. And wait around there. I'll go as fast as I can. After hanging up, I spent another 5 minutes setting myself up. My short hair, when I didn't have the time to style it properly, became a pointy mess. I slapped it, trying to make myself look more like a human, before walking straight to pour food for Zebra. Then I grabbed the car keys and sprinted out of the room. The sound of the sea crashes into the sand, a warm breeze blows through my hair. The evening sun reflects on the water. Everything around him looked beautiful, but nothing made the boy feel better when the opportunity to touch this person's hand once more. The little boy followed his lead to a place he believed to be sacred. The guilt that the boy was carrying now made him extremely uncomfortable. He couldn't take good care of the little boy, resulting in him having to go to the hospital. It was as if he didn't take good care of his older sister, so she left him urgently. An event like that must never happen again. The person whom the boy loved must never be lost again. He brought his little brother to sit in front of an ancient Buddha image and bowed down 3 times before reaching out to hold his brother's hand and speaking out loud. I will protect you until we got married. The sound of a car horn behind me startled me out of my reverie. I immediately hit the turn signal and went into the hospital parking lot. I sat there, daydreaming, while waiting for the cars in front of me to move forward. It took 20 minutes to arrive at the emergency room. I miscalculated the timing. Doll must have arrived a long time ago. When I arrived at the emergency room, the sight was still familiar: chaos. I saw Singh teaching an extern how to do an abdominal ultrasound and saw Nurse Aim complaining to a stretcher who was late to pick up the patient. Gap was rushing to a professor to consult the case, but I couldn't see Doll in the emergency room. I stared at the various seats, but I couldn't find the person I wanted to see. The person I met turned out to be Toy, who walked in and nudged me back. Dr. Tan! Toy called out to me in a strange voice. Yes? I turned to look at him. I'm sorry. Toy looked like he was about to cry. I blinked and stared at him in bewilderment. Why are you apologizing to me? Dr. Teen, don't scold me. Toy grabbed my arm and squeezed it tightly. Dr. Teen is looking for the student, right? Yes. I was taken aback by Toy's expression. Did you see him? Where is he now? I made an appointment for him. Well, Dr. Tin, listen to me, Toy said in a low voice. He came about 10 minutes ago, sat and waited over there. Toy pointed to a small chair in front of the nurse's counter. I didn't know that he came to wait for you, and then walked out to gossip with Aim at the counter. Aim asked me if he had a boyfriend because you've been dressing handsomely lately. I can't help it. So I told her you're flirting with someone. I said that their parents know each other, and I just told him to go see his parents at home. I told her to wait for the good news. I was stunned. Did Doll hear that? At first, he was fine. I didn't know, so I thought he was a relative of the patient who just sat there and waited. Then I accidentally said that the person Dr. Tin flirted was a man. And after that, I felt goosebumps all over my body. After that, the student turned to look at me. He was so shocked. Then he got up and walked out of the emergency room. Dr. Tin! Oh, I almost screamed. The nurse who knew that the students were waiting for Dr. Tin came to me to tell me too late. He's gone, Dr. Tin. It's my fault. I'm sorry. I felt like my whole body was frozen. I'm not mad at Toy because he really didn't mean it and was just a gossip enthusiast, which I didn't really care about. But this was the first time in every loop that Tall had known what I thought of him. Uh, I was speechless. I turned around and rubbed my temples, staring blankly at the ceiling. What should I do now? Toy still apologized to me over and over again, but my ears hear nothing. I wanted to cry so much. Toll already knew that I liked him. He knew it when he was not supposed to know yet. And how would I ever talk to him again? Holy beings out there, help me. Please have mercy on me. What should I do after this? End of Loop 10 Dreams.